Pokemon Red, but every Pokemon is dual ghost poison type. What does that mean? I've changed every Pokemon in the game to be our favorite spooky typings of Gen 1, dual ghost poison. That means every Pokemon in the game is immune to normal and fighting type moves, and every Pokemon in the game is weak to psychic and ground type moves. That's right, not even Pidgeot's normal flying type can save it from Earthquake in this run. Now, as I'm sure many of you are aware, none of my runs are without incident, and it doesn't take long before we run into the first major problem of the run. Quite a few of you probably already know where I'm going with this, but for those of you who don't, looking at the gameplay here, you'll notice that I'm doing no damage to Rival's Bulbasaur with Struggle. Because in Gen 1, Struggle is a normal type move. It doesn't become typeless until Gen 2, I think. So what does this mean for the run? It's impossible. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in another 3 months. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just going to change the typing of Struggle for this run. It doesn't really matter too much what I change it to, but I go with Dragon because it has absolutely no impact on Ghost or Poison types whatsoever. So I make that change, get back into the game, and we beat up Rival real quick. And here's the deal. That battle is a terrific foreshadowing to how the rest of the early game, possibly even the entire game, will go. Rival's Bulbasaur only has a normal type attacking move starting out, and the same can be said for a whole slew of other Pokemon. Nidoran, Pidgey, yes, Gust is normal type in Gen 1, Rattata, Caterpie, Sandshrew, Geodude. I could keep going, but I'm not going to. None of those Pokemon can do any damage to me right now. They can't even use Struggle because the enemy team will never run out of power points to even trigger Struggle happening. The only thing that can make this even more one-sided is if I go get a Pokemon that can hit Ghost types. So I go pick up the Spearow that I named Banshee. My only other options for a Pokemon that you can catch that can hit Ghost types before Brock, if you're curious, are Weedle with doubly ineffective Poison Sting, since everything is also Poison type, and Pikachu with Thundershock. Alright, I think I made my point with the whole Ghost types are immune to normal type moves, and that's primarily what we face in the early game. So we're going to go ahead and skip a little bit to Brock. Geodude only has normal type moves, so no worries there. We knock it out with 17 power points on Peck left for Onix, but since Onix can't raise its defense like Geodude can, and it doesn't resist Peck, we should be fine. But then I remembered that Onix has Bide. That's what I get for taking 3 months off. I could normally play around this by outspeeding the Onix and just not attacking it when it uses Bide, but unfortunately, I decided to be cool and tried to challenge Brock with the level 10 Spearow. But let's just see how bad this hurts. Alright, well, we lived. Might as well go all in with Peck, and Onix uses Bite again. Of course it does. It lived on a sliver. Yes, this is a 3-turn Bite. We beat Brock. Nice. I didn't think that would actually be scary going into it, but I guess I did it to myself. Alright, moving on to Mount Moon, nothing of note happens in here. We pick up the Helix fossil, and we're on our way to Cerulean to fight Rival. I send out Banshee and he sends out Pidgeotto that knows sand attacks, so this should be fun. I probably could have spammed Peck instead of using Leer here, but it's all luck whether sand attack will be used or not, and we see 3 of them. Great. Abra can't do anything and goes down. I decide to spam Leer on Rattata just to save power points with all the misses from Peck, and it goes down in 1, and then Bulbasaur comes out and I start doing the same thing, but then it hits with Leech Seed, which I forgot it had. And it's also used a couple of growls, lowering my attack, so now I have to hit even more Pecks, and we're gonna lose, aren't we? Well, never mind. We take that win. I guess Rival said if we're cheating by being immune to almost everything, he'll just be super annoying, and to give him credit, it almost worked. But anyways, we clear Nugget Bridge, Bill gives us a ticket to SSN, he won in a seance contest, and we make a beeline to Diglett Tunnel. That's right, we're getting one of those little guys for this run, and I name him Linville. And I already regret naming him that because I'm going to get so tongue-tied saying Linville throughout this video. Linville, 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 Linville. Anyways, with Linville now on the team, I don't bench Banshee right away, but I will let it take a backseat for now because Linville has a super powerful 100 base power dig that is super effective against everything in the game. Let's go. And shortly after picking up Linville, we go pick up our next team member, this Drowsy. Okay, this Drowsy. Dang it. This Drowsy, there we go. And we named Drowsy Poltergeist, or kind of close to it. at least it gets the point across. Now, Poltergeist does not know any effective offensive moves yet, so I will need to train it up a little bit, but trust me, it will be very much worth it in the end. And after fighting almost everyone on the SSN, Poltergeist finally learns Confusion, a huge upgrade to the team. Now, we have a super effective move to easily take out defensively weak Pokemon, and a super effective move to easily take out specially weak Pokemon. After finishing off the rest of the trainers on the big boat just for the extra experience, let's take on SSN Rival. Pidgeotto is a 2-hit, but does manage to get a sand attack off, which I'm sure won't hurt us later on. Raticate is an eventual 2-hit, Kadabra can hurt us now, and it easily could have knocked Poltergeist out with Confusion as it was constantly missing, but Kadabra decided to use a couple of teleport, helping us out a little bit for Banshee to come in and take it out. I didn't want to swap in Linville here because Confusion definitely would have one-shot it. Anyways, Ivysaur is last up, and I'll swap back into Poltergeist, who is able to take it out in one more 2-hit to win the fight. So far, Rival has had very little that can actually do anything against the team, but we'll see how long that lasts. On our way back up to Cerulean, I accidentally run into this bug catcher with the Butterfree, and it puts my whole team to sleep and takes them out one by one. So naturally, I have to come back for rematch to obliterate and trash talk it. Alright, Misty time. Staryu is a 2-hit and it only lands one water gun, doing very little. Then Starmie comes out and it also just spams water gun for some reason, not doing a whole lot, and it goes down in 3. Not too much to worry about there, I guess. Moving on to Lieutenant Surge, I completely forgot about Sonic Boom on Voltorb. Sonic Boom, if you remember, is a direct damage dealing move, always doing 20 HP of damage, and that's the only damage we take in this fight. But what was more exciting than the fight was me almost teaching Headbutt over Confusion, but we're good, all is well, we're moving on. In Rock Tunnel, Poltergeist evolves into Hypno, gaining a cool looking pendulum, and we finally get out of Rock Tunnel after encountering wild Pokemon every 2 steps because I forgot Repels again, but that's neither here nor there. Let's take on Lavender Rival. Pidgeotto goes down easy enough, thankfully not hitting a sand attack. He does have a Gyarados this match, and it takes Linville all the way down to 2 HP with a Dragon Rage, but Dig lets us hide from Hydro Pup, letting Linville live. And the rest of his team all go down pretty easy with their less than great defense stats. Ivysaur does finally finish off Linville, but Poltergeist comes out for a quick knockout and victory. Leaving Lavender Town to go pick up the Pokédoll and fresh water, Diglett evolves into Dugtrio. With Dugtrio and Hypno, we are now 2/3 of the way to our final team. Coming back to Lavender Town, our team is specifically built to handle these Ghastly, so we easily clear through them and the Rockets at the top to get the Pokeflute. Speaking of Ghastly and type matchups, the next 2 gyms should be the easiest we've seen so far. Erica only has grass type moves that can hit us and we resist those, and Koga only has poison type moves that can hit us and we doubly resist those. So let's see how fast we can clear through them. Erica's up first, we hit a Confusion and she puts me to sleep. Yeah, I forgot about that. But luckily, as is so common in these runs, she does not capitalize on it, tries to use Wrap, only gets one more Razor Leaf off, Poltergeist wakes up and knocks it out. Tangela is up next, and it literally can't do anything except waste time with our bind immunity, but it doesn't even do that, and we're on to Vileplume, which also puts Poltergeist to sleep, but it really can't do anything either. Poltergeist eventually wakes up from its nap, and we take down Erica. Nice. Now on to Koga, but before we fight him, I will admit that we were knocked down a peg or 2 fighting one of the trainers in his gym. This level 38 Hypno wiped the floor with us, so Sabrina's gym might be a problem. If Linville can outspeed and one-shot, we're good. Otherwise, well, we'll worry about that when we get there. It's Koga time! I lead off with Linville for this fight, and his first coughing is already down. Okay, Muck comes out and he's an easy 2-hit. Second coughing is once again a 1-hit. Weezing's X attack is letting Sludge hit a bit harder than Muck's, but it's not enough to outdamage Dig, and Koga is down. That might have been the easiest major fight of the run. Well, actually, I guess the rival in the lab was probably the easiest fight, so this was the second easiest fight of the run. With Koga down, we have access to Surf, which means we can go pick up our next Pokemon. And where are we going to do that, you ask? Probably not where you expect. We are going to the power plant to catch a Magnemite. Or this Magneton works too. Why Magneton? Well, it has really good special and pretty good defense, and I don't think I've used it in a run before, so Here we are. Anyways, I catch Magneton and name it St. Elmo. As I train up St. Elmo through the fighting dojo in Sylph, one cool thing about it is you can use Sonic Boom as a normal type swag move. Yeah, we can hit your ghost type Pokemon with a normal type move. That's the power of direct damage, baby. Yeah, really the only reason to use Sonic Boom is for swag. If I'm really concerned about conserving power points for Thunderbolt, Thundershock is probably the better move in almost every regard. But it's so much more fun to use Sonic Boom. Okay, let's take on Sylph Rival. I lead off with Linville and get an easy crit on Pidgeot, knocking it out immediately. Gyarados comes out, Dig takes it down to about a quarter, and it hits with a Hydro Pump, which does just over 40 HP, so about the same as what Dragon Rage would have done, and the second Dig finishes it off. Both Growlithe and Alakazam are one-hits with their not great defense, and Venusaur is not a one-hit, but Razor Leaf only does 20 HP in damage, letting Linville hit another Dig to knock it out. Sylph Rival is down, and we are cruising through the game at this point. Giovanni's up next, and just to be funny, I'm leading off with St. Elmo and Thunderbolting everything. And his first 3 Pokemon all go down in 2 with absolutely no fight whatsoever. Nidoqueen comes out and is tanking St. Elmo's attack pretty well, so I just try Sonic Boom, and it does even less. But the only thing Nidoqueen has that it can hit us with is doubly resisted Poison Sting, so eventually we win and Giovanni goes down. And looking at his team on Bulbapedia, apparently that's the only move his whole team has that can hit me. Nidorino and Nidoqueen have Poison Sting, but the rest of his team only has normal type moves. Poor Giovanni. Someone that does arbitrary changes to moves in Pokemon and Pokémon Red before playing it and making a video about it should absolutely fix that for one of their upcoming releases. Anyways, enough of that. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. How hard will Sabrina be this time? I'm sending Linville out first for 2 reasons. Onely, it will hopefully outspeed everything on her team, and twosly, her team is really weak defensively, and Linville is a physical attacker with Dig, so we're going to really play off of that. And as you can see, that really played off, and we are getting super lucky with Sabrina simply choosing to not do anything for some reason. So we get the easiest win of the run against what could have been the hardest trainer of the run. I think it's all downhill from here. Blaine time! I lead off with Linville again, hoping for another easy sweep since Blaine's team's defenses aren't really that good either. Growlithe and Ponyta both go down in 1, Rapidash manages to get a Fire Spin going and heal between hits, thanks Blaine, but goes down once Linville breaks free, and Arcanine is a little scary hitting with that Fire Blast that takes Linville down to just 10 HP, but we hit the second Dig and it goes down, getting us yet another win. Now let's face Giovanni one last time. I once again send out Linville to lead off, but his team is pretty weak specially, so we do have Poltergeist and St. Elmo for some good support. Rhyhorn can't do anything and goes down in 2. With Dodrio, I'm worried about Dig, so I intentionally use Growl, wasting a turn, hoping it goes for Dig. Unfortunately, I'm not paying attention, so I miss Giovanni using that guard spec, and I go for Dig, then it goes for Dig. So yeah, this is gonna hurt. And it gets a crit, knocking Linville out. St. Elmo has the higher defense out of it and Poltergeist, and Dig only does a third. As long as we survive this Dig, it got a crit. Of course it did. Alright, Poltergeist, it's up to you, and it gets another crit. So that's our 3rd loss of the run. The Rando Bugcatcher, the level 38 Hypno, and now Giovanni. This fight had been in the back of my mind the entire run, but I hadn't given it a lot of thought because I had my own Dugtrio that can outspeed his and quote-unquote should knock it out easy. Oh well, we try again, I get the timing right this time, and Dugtrio goes down in 1. Nidoqueen and Nidoking only know Poison Sting, so super easy to take out. Linville gets Earthquake, and Rhydon only knows Fissure, which can't even hit us, and Giovanni is down. That's the gym run done. Time to take on Rival. He sends out Pidgeot and I lead off with St. Elmo. Pidgeot is only going to use Agility because of good AI, so it's a free knockout, and Rhyhorn can't do anything, so it is too. Gyarados is a little scary per the usual, but it can't wipe the whole team out with one hit, so looking ahead to the champion fight, I think we're good. Growlithe is another free knockout, Alakazam can do some damage, so I swap into the Poltergeist. For some reason, I don't know why I didn't wait for the free swap, and I knock it out in 3, and Venusaur comes out. It can't do a whole lot to the team, and it goes down in 2. Yeah, again, looking forward to the champion fight. I think we're good, just need to level up a bit more, and it should be relatively easy. But before we do that, we do need to get past the Elite Four. Going into the league, I forgot to save beforehand, so here we go. The team is at level 47. Let's take on Lorelei. Not a whole lot to say in this fight, honestly. Poltergeist Psychic is putting in the work, taking out her Pokemon in just a few hits. One interesting thing to note is Lapras will spam Confuse Ray because it is a ghost type move. So we just have to hit through confusion against it to get the win. Bruno is up next, and I mean, he's even easier than usual here. I spam Thunder Shock just to save on power points. We lose 12 total HP in that fight, and we're moving on. Agatha might be challenging here just because of how trolly she can be, you know, her usual self, but maybe we can outspeed and outdamage her before things get too bad. We do outspeed, but Gengar is not a one-shot. Luckily, Agatha swaps on the turn she could have used a move, and we're able to crit one-shot the Golbat. Gengar comes back out for another quick knockout. Haunter is an easy one-shot. She sends out Arbok out, but immediately swaps into her ace Gengar, who we take way down to about a quarter. It thankfully tries for Toxic, which we're immune to, and we finish it off with a dig. Arbok comes back out, it only goes for a bite in between hits, and we take it out. That was a super easy Agatha fight. Last up in the Elite Four is Lance, and I think the only thing we need to worry about is his Gyarados. I send out St. Elmo since it has the best chance of surviving Gyarados' attacks, but his Thunderbolt is doing next to nothing. And after 2 more Dragon Rages, St. Elmo is down. Gyarados is at half health, so it's not impossible, just a little scary. I send out Poltergeist hoping for a quick Psychic knockout, but Gyarados hangs on and Lance uses a Hyper Potion. I completely forgot about that. Gyarados' Hydro Pump is doing more damage than its Dragon Rage, and after just a few more turns, it takes Poltergeist down. It's all up to Linville. We outspeed, so the Gyarados is down. Moving on to the rest of Lance's team, the Dragons all know Agility, so they're free knockouts thanks to good AI, and Aerodactyl only knows normal type moves, only one of which can have an effect on us, being Supersonic, so nothing at all to worry about after his initial Gyarados, and Lance is down. The Elite Four was mostly easy, Gyarados being the odd one out, as always. Let's move on to the champion. I haven't mentioned it yet, but Poltergeist knows Meditate at this point, so I'm gonna set up against Champion's Pidgeot and try and sweep his team. Maybe it'll work. Unfortunately, Pidgeot no longer knows Agility, and thus is no longer a free knockout. It actually manages to take Poltergeist down to 26 HP with a couple of wing attacks and a sky attack. So, let's just go ahead and knock it out. Alright, it's down. Moving on to Alakazam. Are you going to play nice? Nope. And Poltergeist is down. And in a bad play on my part, I send out St. Elmo, who does not outspeed the Alakazam, but does manage to take a Psychic before knocking it out. Rhydon comes out, and it's a free knockout, so we can breathe a little bit. But not for long, because Gyarados is out next, and it knocks out St. Elmo with a Hydro Pump. It is all up to Linville again. Earthquake takes Gyarados way down and hits back with Dragon Rage, which is the second best outcome for us, and we knock it out with a dig. Arcanine comes out, we are able to chip away at its health, but it's doing the same to us, and we're down to 22 HP when we knock it out. Well, 25 after that level up, going into Champion's last Pokemon. Dig takes Venusaur down to just about half, but it hits back with Razor Leaf, knocking Linville out. If it had gone for Mega Drain or Solar Beam, we probably would have won, or at least did more damage to it, but honestly, that fight shouldn't be hard. I just turned my brain off way too much, and Linville was 14 levels under Venusaur. I have rare candies. Why did I not use them? Oh well, I beat the Elite Four again. Everything is level 54 and 55. Let's rematch Champion. I remembered this time that Pidgeot can attack me, so we go ahead and knock it out with a couple of Psychic, and I want to see if I can do the same to Alakazam, but unfortunately it hits pretty hard too, knocking out Poltergeist with a Psychic and Psybeam. I learned my lesson from last time though, and I swap into Linville, who gets a super quick knockout. We can let Rhydon badge boost Linville with Leer and Tail Whip, so I stall with Growl to let that happen, and we knock it out in 2. Gyarados goes down in 1. Finally, we get our revenge on it. Arcanine is a one hit, and we level up before Venusaur, but it shouldn't matter. Dig takes it under half. It hits with Solar Beam that does like a quarter, and one last dig finishes the Champion ace off, getting us the win. Finally, Pokémon Red, but every Pokemon is Ghost Poison type is done. That ended up being a much easier run than what I was initially thinking, But because of that, I think it led into a false sense of security going up against some of the later Pokemon that don't have all the normal type moves like Pidgeot and Gyarados. It was definitely a fun run though, that's for sure. Up next, maybe I'll finish that randomized base stat total video, I don't know. I'm in the home stretch on it, but there's still a lot of editing to do on my part. I think my new goal is to release it by the end of the year. I think that sounds good. I'm also doing another Tsokio version run soon, changing a few more things up like Giovanni's poor Sylph team. Let me know what you want to see down below. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.